for the fact that once again I'm filming at night, but guys, not my fault. Got a whole busy day today, dinner party afterwards, so just before I began going to the party, I just figured I'd show you very quickly and then do a quick review on the fact that look what came in the mail a couple days ago. The full Matt Smith collection and the full Peter Capaldi collection. So basically all of Steven Moffat's entire era. And yes, doing a video on Deep Breath now. Forgive me as I do a little run and a dance. Hold on. Yeah! Got it. And yes indeed, friends, I do have the whole Peter Capaldi and Matt Smith edition. Let's do a video on it before my dinner party happens. Sorry, I gotta go to a party after this. Oh dear me. Hold on. Okay, I had to get myself situated and seated. Alright, forgive me. Alright, there we go. Alright, now I'm ready to do this. Alright, so, yes. This is my beginning of where I'm doing videos on every individual episode of Peter Capaldi's era. Why Peter Capaldi? Well, actually, here's the thing. He was the very first Doctor I ever saw be regenerated into. Yes, Matt Smith into Peter Capaldi was the very first regeneration scene I ever actually saw. And so I figured, him being the first Doctor I ever saw be regenerated into, maybe I should do a video on this lovely incarnation. And so yes, starting with Deep Breath. Okay, so now, Deep Breath. Yes, we know it is. It's the first story of Peter Capaldi's actual tenure as the Doctor. It's written by Steven Moffat, first episode of Series 8. We know what it is. But here comes my journey into it. Well, first of all, I blatantly admit I did not see Peter Capaldi's series, any of his series, his entire tenure, in order. I saw them very much out of order. Reason for that is I do not have BBC America, and I hate watching things on my computer unless I absolutely have to. So when it comes to Doctor Who, I have to wait till it comes out in DVD to buy it. But of course, when it came out, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait till I can get it really cheaply, and I was able to get, like with Matt Smith, really cheaply his entire run, entire 8 to 10 series, for $20. Yeah, so I saw a couple of episodes here, not a couple, almost all of his episodes here and there, but completely out of chronological sequence. So Deep Breath was one of the last stories I saw of the 12th Doctor. I know, not easy enough to really make it something you're going to feel attached to because it's out of sequence, but hey, such is life, this is how I live my life. So, Deep Breath. I don't have much time before I have to leave, so here we go. Okay, Deep Breath starts again where we get an opening of, we're in, like, you know, pretty much in Europe, in England, in the 1800s, and there is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or a dinosaur that looks just like it, that is walking through Victorian England. As we got the Paternoster gang, they're here, and then what is this dinosaur doing? How did it get here? It got here all because the Doctor, now his TARDIS has gone wonky after his regenerating. It, I guess, landed in the Cretaceous period on Earth, and then it got swallowed up by a dinosaur, then it dematerialized, of course, to travel through time, taking the dinosaur with it, and the dinosaur, therefore, ends up in Victorian England. And it coughs up the TARDIS, it lands, and we've got a Doctor who is just fresh off his regeneration, and as a result is batshit wonky in every way you can, and the plot line leads to him, first of all, having to recover, Clara having to deal with the reality that she has a Doctor on her hands with a whole new face, and by God, it's a whole different face. He's older now, she's not used to this, and for those people who criticize Clara's character, saying, well, she's seen all the faces of the Doctor because of her many echoes of herself that try to help him over the years, and how this therefore should not knock her back. No, of course it's going to knock her back. She's not made of stone. Because, yes, she saw those faces, but the 11th Doctor is the face that she got to know and got to connect with. It's like seeing your best friend, whose face you feel such a deep connection with, completely changing on you and becoming something wholly new. Even when you know it's going to happen eventually, even though you know the change is going to occur, nothing can fully prepare you for the actual event. And for those people who hate Clara, it's you, that's how you feel, it's fine. I admit I enjoy Clara. Overall, I do like her. I am not against you for not liking her. Don't worry. I get it. That's how you feel. I just feel different, especially with, again, if you watched my videos before, you know of how I look at Martha and Clara. I see them as being linked, and they both show the arc of the Doctor between Martha being with the 10th Doctor and Clara with the 11th Doctor, and then finally with the 12th Doctor. I see a growth of the Doctor, and those two companions mark the growth of the Doctor and what the Doctor has become from Russell T Davies' era to Moffat's era. And because Martha and Clara, for me, are linked that way, Clara is a special part of that. And for those people like, what do you mean by the link between Martha and Clara? I did a video on that. You can always go back and look at my channel to see the video I did on that. But now, let's keep on going with this. So we have the Paternoster gang who is helping Clara adjust to this new incarnation of the Doctor, while also investigating the disappearances of people who've been taken in many ways. But then we get the dinosaur being completely burnt up. But why was it burnt up? The dinosaur completely destroyed. Why? Well, also having to do with the fact that we see in piece or little segment of a newspaper called The Impossible Girl. Behind it talks about a Victorian restaurant to go and eat, and Clara thinks it's the Doctor messaging her. She goes there. The Doctor, turns out, thought it was Clara messaging him, so he goes there. Both think message each other through the newspaper, but no, this is not the case. It turns out clockwork droids are now in Victorian England, and they are wishing to go to the motherland, but they need spare parts, as clockwork droids do. Need spare parts to get there, to travel there. And they burn the dinosaur for its spare parts. Guys, if you guys are watching this video, you know what the clockwork droids are. I do not need to explain to you. I'm not going to, talk to you as if you're stupid. I know you're all intelligent individuals who came here for a reason and because you already saw the story. Now, when it comes to this particular story of Deep Breath, blatantly admit when I first did finally get around to watching it, I was apprehensive for two reasons. I knew, but it was not for fear of worrying about getting over the loss of the 11th Doctor. I was prepared, and I knew that nothing this episode did was going to help me recover from the loss of the 11th Doctor. I knew I was going to miss him. I knew I was going to feel the loss of 11 so tremendously that I was prepared for that and making myself ready for the fact that I did now get used to this new Doctor. So I did not walk into this with animosity towards him, but accepting the reality, which was that there was no way I was going to need time to get over the loss of 11. That's something that I'm happy I did do, because with Peter Capaldi's Doctor, blatantly admit, when I first began watching the episode, didn't really connect to him at all. And when his attempts at humor just felt forced and didn't feel organic to me. But as the episode progressed and we got more into what his Doctor was, I began to connect with him and therefore to accept him more as the Doctor. This would go on to change and go back and forth later on throughout watching his era. But now that I'm revisiting his era, because as stories, I've only seen all of them, or most of them, once. You need to see Doctor Who stories more than once to really connect with them. And that's what I'm doing here. By going back and watching his stories again, I'm giving my chance to connect with them. So, with Deep Breath, I was able to appreciate it more, but one thing I definitely appreciated was the directing. The Deep Breath looks beautiful. It feels beautiful. And by the time it's done, I'm really very much into it. The pacing is very, very, very good in this as well. The performances are very good. Clara is wonderful. The Paternoster gang, wonderful. And by the time I got to the end of the episode, I did like a lot of choices that Peter Capaldi did in fact make. The beginning, I just felt like it was like he was shedding the 11th Doctor. I was watching the 12th Doctor shedding his 11th Doctor skin and it was still being like the 11th Doctor. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with feeling like the next incarnation is shedding the previous one, but by the time you get to the end of that episode, you have to be your new incarnation, which he was. Also, when it comes to Peter Capaldi, that being said, while I did like him by the end, those people who loved him from the very beginning, that's cool, that's you. Those people who by the time you got to the end of the episode, you still were not crazy about him, you did not connect to him, that's okay. You are not wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. I can see how both of those reactions happened. I can see why those loved him immediately. I can see why those people did not like him at all. Makes total sense. And you're thinking I'm being kind of wishy-washy or giving in to other people's feelings, because I'm afraid of voicing anything true. No, that's not what's happening here. I'm respecting both views because I understand the time-honored truth that there are more opinions and points of views out there than my own. So if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. That's how I do things. So yes, that was my feelings with Deep Breath. My only apprehension I had with Deep Breath when I finally did get around to seeing it is the apprehension and the discomfort I felt always with watching Peter Capaldi's era. And that's with the fact that I am a fan fiction Doctor Who writer, and I'm always afraid when watching an episode, will they have done something that I wrote and I did publish in my books, and I feel like, oh, they beat me to it, or I did do this, but they did it, now it looks like I'm just copying them when I'm really not. That was the case with Deep Breath. Literally, I brought back the Clockwork Droids in a book I wrote called Doctor Who: The Imitation Games, where the Clockwork Droids were brought back and were taking people in a unique way. But I had to accept but the more I got used to watching it as revisiting it and rewatching, I could see that I still did it differently enough to not feel pain of the fact that it's like I did this and then I went back and I saw Deep Breath. I'm like, oh my god. The first time I watched Deep Breath, I'm like, oh, I did this, but now it looks like I'm just copying this story. But I did enough to feel unique. After watching it a second time, I feel like I can now make peace with that. So yes, Deep Breath, that was my overall feelings about it. I had a fun time watching it the second time around. Great direction. Moffat did a very good job at trying to give something that would really, like, whoa, make you stand on attention. Moffat, when he's very good, Moffat is very good. Just like when he's not very good, he's not very good. But in this case, I can say overall Deep Breath, I did enjoy myself. I saw a lot of good stuff in it. If this Deep Breath was not your thing, it's fine. Don't worry, you're not crazy. I see where you're coming from. But I personally, overall, do enjoy it. So that's my review on Deep Breath. Now let's go to my party. Oh, but before I go quickly, look what came in the mail. Space 1999. Space 1999. Sorry if you can't see the light glare. I'm so doing a review on that very soon. Okay, guys, so did you see Deep Breath? Oh, and the very end, doing with that ending, talking about the phone call the 11th Doctor gave to Clara at the very end of Deep Breath that people hold in animosity. I'm standing by what I did before. Sorry, that's just how I feel. I am perfectly fine with that phone call. I liked seeing it, actually. I thought it was beautiful. It gave a nice ending to it all, a nice sense of closure, and connecting the 11th Doctor to the 12th Doctor and bringing that journey all full circle, it felt. It worked for me perfectly fine. It's not your thing, that's fine, but I'm sticking to it. So guys, thank you so very much for watching this video. Have you seen Deep Breath? Have you not seen Deep Breath? If you've seen it, let me know down below. And guys, it was nice to hear from you. Well, guys, have fun. Truly, have fun.